I don't have friends. I got family.
Family.
You can have any brew you want, as long as it's a Corona.
Family.
This just went from Mission Impossible to Mission and freaking Sanity.
The movies.
Vroom, vroom. Ooh, open the door. Wait a second, we're not vroom vrooming anymore? No, we're opening the boot. What's in the boot? It's a present.
God.
Hi. Welcome to Fast Fridays. I'm Andrew Jones, and with me as always is my familia, Johnny Ellis.
Hello. Howdy.
Yes.
Hey,
And
all. It's Friday.
Nope. And
Oh.
usually our Fast Fridays are all about the Fast and Furious franchise on the road to F9 the Fast Saga, but that happened last week
Yes.
because they decided to change the release date on us at the last minute. So their present to
Damn
us
you,
was an
universe.
earlier release date of the film, and our present to them is we're still handling on to Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Yep.
But don't worry, you think we're doing this alone?
Oh, God, no. We've got
No.
family.
We've got family, and our family this week is Sarah O'Connell. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm immediately quite concerned in that I think I've made a terrible mistake. When you said it was Fast Fridays, I just haven't eaten all day.
That's fine. I think that's the right level of blood sugar to attack this film at.
Is this where the being furious bit comes in?
Yes, you're hangry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normal start.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's all going to be like that in case you're wondering.
Yeah. Perfect.
I do want to just start this episode briefly mentioning a friend of the show, Simon Thompson, has just had an unfortunate incident, and we want to send our love to him.
Yes. Yeah.
But
We're thinking of you.
We love you. We hope you're safe and well. It's terrifying, and hopefully you'll be fine. You'll be able to come on and wax lyrical about Jason Statham in your own time again.
Yeah.
And do a rock face like he does on his Twitter profile. We love you, man. And that's as much emotion as you're going to get out of us talking about Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. Thank you for listening.
Well, I've got a bit of emotion to expel because this is we have had why am I losing my words? We've had Sarah on the podcast before.
Yes.
This is your second time on the podcast. But this is
I think of Little Else.
yeah. But this is my first time. Yes. Thank you.
Told you.
Thank you. Did you? Because I did go back and listen because I don't tend to listen to the podcast because I can't stand my own voice.
And also terrible content.
But I went back to listen to your interview with Andrew, and just to check. And from what I could gather, there was no talk of cats. So I just want to apologise.
It was a creative decision.
Oh, was it? Oh, was it indeed? Yeah.
It came from head office.
It's been a loop ever since because I can't find the tab it's opening, so it just keeps repeating.
So, have you seen Cats? Did you like Cats? Because this isn't actually a Fast and Furious podcast.
Mentally replaying Cats in my mind most of the time.
Oh, so they live in your memories.
Yeah.
When you're all alone, maybe, I don't know, in the moonlight?
And yeah, just repeating the word Jellicle Cats all the time.
Wait, can I just check though? Did you two speak before this and we're both going, I bet he's going to mention Cats because he didn't get to talk about it before.
I have been on Radio 1 twice talking about the movie Cats, and neither of which time was anywhere near close to the release date. It's still bothering me.
And I've never been on Radio 1, and nor do I think about you at all times, Johnny. So, does that answer the question?
Well, I still haven't spoken to someone who enjoys Cats, so I'm hoping that you can break the
I've got
break the streak. Oh.
What are their
let's
names?
talk Fast and
Rumble
Furious.
Tees from Mungo Cherry? I'm giving you a Cats 10.
Yeah. I still live in hope.
Sarah, what is a Jellicle cat?
I am not entirely sure. I just know that there's a lot of them and little else.
No, little mice and littler cockroaches.
And little cockroaches, yeah. What's your favourite song from Cats?
The end credit song, because it meant it finished.
Beautiful Ghosts, the
Did you sit
Oscar
through it?
nominated song.
I think the music actually after the credits had finished and just the low level Bon Jovi that comes on in the cinema. That music.
The image that says visit Universal Studios Orlando.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Let's talk about Fast and Furious. I give up.
Look,
I tried.
we're integrating the studio. Same Hollywood, machine. Put 2 classic films out in 2019, Cats and Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
They're very similar, actually, in a lot of ways.
And I think we're going to get to them.
CGI nipples.
Now that is a compare
Extensive
and
use
contrast.
of Idris Elba.
That's a compare and contrast essay I want to write for university one day, if I ever go back.
Universal.
Universal, yeah.
For the Criterion release.
I want to head up the Criterion release of Cats, please.
No, I meant the Fast Saga.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the Fast Saga, I suppose.
We're not talking about the Fast Saga. We're specifically talking about Fast and Furious presenting Hobbs and Shaw to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you find this nice wrap bow under your Christmas tree when you got this?
That's the thing. I didn't feel like that film was presented by them. Like, it had characters from that universe, but I would have liked Vin Diesel to come out and introduce the film.
Just a fireside with a
Or,
cognac.
Yeah, sat fireside with a book, and he opens it up and then explodes, and then the film starts.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah.
Oh no! Surely sat at little Brian Jr.'s bedside, reading the book to him of Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Is this one of those, kissing books?
What are they?
As you wish.
Just because the pages go together doesn't mean they're kissing.
Inconceivable. That could either be Jason
Yes, how
Statham.
live is Jason Statham.
Right, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. It's directed by David Leitch.
Yep.
Formerly of Deadpool 2
John
and
Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde and John Wick.
Yep.
Written by Chris Morgan, still involved, but this time with the added work of Drew Pearce from Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And,
good choice.
what do we call it? Hotel Artemis. Great film, Hotel Artemis. Yep. Underrated.
Yep. Just like this, right?
10 uses of the word family.
Wow, really?
10 uses, yep.
I didn't even notice that.
But
we were talking earlier, and there's a few things that popped up that you never even noticed.
Yeah, and I still had to make, enough noticing that no Corona, no Brotherhood.
Yeah. 2
bald boys.
No, there is, you're wrong about that.
What?
Uso in Samoan means brother.
Yes.
Yeah, but when we talk about brotherhood, we're not talking about the use of the word brother. We're talking about the actual meaning of brother. And we'll get to that. I don't think family is important in this film. I say it. I don't think family is important in this film. Also, there's some cars. That's the car stuff in this. It's not really, a car-based film.
More motorbikey and a bit truck.
It's like they learned that hey, cars did planes, so Fast and Furious can also do bikes and trucks.
It's true.
And transforming bikes.
Bikes and trucks and bikes and trucks and bikes and trucks.
It could almost be called Cars and Furious.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Do you think this would have worked better as a standalone film, like on its not part of the world?
But it kind of isn't it? It's kind of like Ewok's Caravan of Courage. There's Star Wars episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Doesn't mention a Caravan of Courage at all. Equally, there's Fast and Furious 1 to 8, and now number 9 is coming out.
Yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw is number 9, so they're not including it in the collection of.
They're not including it in the main feed. Now, is Caravan of Courage the one with Wilford Brimley?
I don't know. I saw it in about 1987 on video.
And you didn't notice some angry guy putting a stick in water? Get out of here! I don't want you stinging Ewoks. Because that's what he doesn't have. One of the 2 Ewok films, he's there and he's angry and bitter. and he's somehow younger then than Tom Cruise is now.
Exciting.
We open up in London.
Yep.
Right?
Don't we open up with the split screen or?
No.
No, that's after.
How dare you? A chopper's flying.
I would suggest it isn't a split screen. They've just got a very big, multi-decorated bedroom.
Right.
You are jumping the gun way too soon.
Well,
we have an opening sequence with everyone's favourite character, Hattie Shaw.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Yep.
The heist.
The opening heist. Her and her team are in a high-tech chopper, suited, they're booted, they're ready to breach this building because there's a truck. There's a truck they need to get to, and there's a bike driving to the same location. Who's on the bike? We don't know. But
they've got a high-tech chopper.
They have a high-tech chopper. And what else do they have, Johnny? This is very important here. The guns they're using on the bad guys. Do you notice what they are?
No, I didn't. No, they're not. Are they? Are they AMPs?
Yeah, they are the electro guns where they hit them, and they have these weird grapple things that electrocute them. These are your guns from Too Fast, Too Furious,
yeah,
basically
but they're not
returned
as
into human form.
They're not as big though, are they?
No, because they're for humans.
Yeah. They're more fun when
they've
it's
modified
big
them for humans, so that now they've probably got a gigantic cannon if they want to bring down the moon.
Oh.
It's F9 the Fast Saga.
Yep. That's what we want.
We're going to electrocute the moon. But then Brixton comes in. Right?
Yep.
And Hattie hides in the truck, whilst Brixton kills all the other guys.
With his cybernetic enhancements.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's got this fallout thing going on in him where he can predict things. And he calls himself the bad guy. He goes, bad guy. Classic Brixton. And she tries to escape with the truck. She can't drive very well, so crashes through. She falls over and puts whatever she's trying to get into the palm of her hand. And she assumes it's the power of the sun because she's Dr. Octavius.
And Tom Cruise is not happy that she just injected herself.
Just ripping off that immediately, aren't we?
Yeah. Alright, yeah, I forgot about that opening thing because I was more excited about this.
There's a lot that you're going to say I forgot about because this is Hobbs and Shaw we're dealing with.
I watched this barely 20 hours ago.
I watched this last week.
Yeah.
I watched it again today.
Wow. Thank you for doing way too much research.
We're all going to forget.
I watched it twice.
How many notes do you have? How many pages of notes do you have this time? Because I think it's significantly less than the others.
It's like 5 pages of notes.
Yeah, that's significantly less than the others.
We've had 14 pages before.
Yeah.
I have no pages of notes, but I've got 400 drawings.
You've made a flip book?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But before we cut to the important thing, Brixton, having lost what he needs to get, he calls MI6, pretending to be one of the team, and tells them that Hattie's gone rogue. Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Split screen. Do you want to go?
Split screen. I like this. It's a nice little. Yeah, it was fun. I just want this for the entire movie. Just them going about their days in split screen, and you just see the contrast between them, between how they eat their breakfast and how they exercise.
Wasn't that the film Time Code?
Oh, I might have to look that up then.
Time Code, where it's the 4 screens and it's 4 films happening at the same time.
Oh yeah, that does sound familiar.
Was it Time Code? That was what it was. It was kind of unwatchable.
But this isn't.
I kind of feel like the biggest takeaway from the film is that Jason Statham cooks his eggs and The Rock just drinks them raw.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? He has it raw.
Yeah.
He prepares it and puts pepper on it and flavors his. Do you get it? One lives, the other one lives.
The biggest takeaway really from the film is that big Greggs that they pass by. That's on the corner. That you know it's not in London. But we'll get to that later.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny, we'll fucking get to that.
Is that your 5 pages of notes?
Look, Hobbs is in Los Angeles where it's nice and sunny and orange. Shaw is in London where it's grey, miserable and rainy.
Of course, yeah.
Hobbs is in bed with nobody. Shaw's got a girl. He's got a bird, isn't he?
Mr. Nobody.
What?
With Hobbs is in bed with Mr. Nobody. Is that his name? Mr. No One?
Actually, he's in bed with Little Nobody.
Oh.
Because, after he pinned him sideways at the front during Face of the Furious. He now wants to pin him sideways from the. And do you know what he says afterwards?
Go on.
Did I fire 6 times or 5 times? In all this excitement, I can't really tell. Go ahead, make my day.
And he was played by Michael Caine.
Go ahead, make my day, Master Wayne. Of course, you know, Bruce Wayne would never do that.
Oh god, no, that's not
what heroes do. What are other differences between these two people?
Well, for a start, Bruce Wayne lives in a cave.
Wait, Bruce Wayne lives in a cave?
Yeah.
Why would he live in a cave? He's got the manor.
He has got a manor, yeah.
Ill manor.
That's my rap group name.
Right, so Hobbs is there doing his heavy lifting.
Yep.
Whilst Shaw's down at a pub having a beer, doing a crossword. Remember? Remember that scene? And then they both get a phone call at the same time?
Yep.
It's exciting because then Hobbs goes to a bar with a karaoke night on Saturdays. While Shaw goes to this real classy, 4-story building and picks up a bottle of champagne. Well, Hobbs has 2 tequilas. Which tequilas?
Is it his tequila or is it
Camana tequilas.
Oh, right.
It has to be.
Little glasses over his shoulder.
Of course.
Of course.
It's good luck.
Yeah.
And they go to the back of the places and then they meet these people.
Mm-hmm.
See, because Hobbs, he's what you call an ice cold kind of whoop-ass.
Yeah.
Whereas Shaw, he's what you call a champagne problem.
What is the champagne problem?
Oh, the problem is that I bought you a bottle of cold champagne, Johnny.
The twisty thing's all broken.
How'd you get the gold shit off?
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, the bottle doesn't break when he expects it to.
Right. They have a bit of a fight.
So
And then he's like, "Can you believe this bottle didn't break?" And then he drops it, and it breaks. And he hangs the guy outside. He pushes him outside a window and just hangs him there for a while. Classic Shaw. We all know he loves to hang people outside buildings.
Yeah.
Well, Hobbs, he beats some guy up and pushes him onto a tattoo chair and threatens to tattoo him, and then looks at a girl and says, "Nice tats." Do you get it?
Yeah.
And he draws "I heart cops" on his forehead, but the heart is a heart shape.
That's quicker, isn't it?
Right? It's funny. It's clever. It's like Huckabees. Did we get anything out of that sequence?
I mean, it's fun. Yeah. I don't know what to say. That's not in my notes.
Whose method do you prefer? Do you prefer champagne problem or ice cold kind of whoop-ass girls? Let's get into this.
I think very much with Hobbs rather than Shaw on this.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no. More Hobbs. Well, I'm O'Connell, but yeah.
See, I lean towards Shaw. I like
Really?
his way of dealing with things. It's classy.
Hanging a guy outside is classy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to go to one of your parties.
There's something clean cut about it. Whereas Hobbs is using a tattoo gun. It's all messy and inky.
If I throw it out of the building, then it becomes the council's problem to clean up the body.
Yeah. Exactly.
We don't have to go through all the red tape and then maybe have the license taken away from this building.
It's what we pay our taxes for.
Hold on, folk. Are we paying for body removal as like the deux reserve for our taxes?
Yeah.
There aren't any around, are there?
Exactly.
Fair play. They're doing a great job.
Really good.
Would you fancy going to a diner?
Oh, I love a diner.
I actually would love to go there and stay there longer than we did.
Because Hobbs and Samantha there. Sorry, Luke and Samantha, I guess, because, we're going to have to deal with a lot of Hobbses here.
Oh, yeah.
And she's made a family tree for school.
Very empty family tree.
Very empty family tree. But there's an old photo of Luke, and he's got a brother.
Attached to him. It's really weird.
They're stuck on him. That's played by Greg Kinnear.
Ah, if only. If only that's what this film was.
Gosh, I love Stuck on You. I love Cher. Where's Cher in this franchise? But no, it's Uncle
That's
Jonah.
true. Yeah.
Uncle Jonah. That's important, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
important
not yet.
because pancake time. It's pancake time.
It is pancake time.
Sure
It's
is.
cheat day.
See, because
Just cook
they come with a
pancakes.
3 stack of pancakes and give it to Luke, and he's like, "No, that's the movie stuff. That's for a baby girl." And they bring in a whole pack of like 20 pancakes. That's what it is.
Oh yeah. Although they look quite plain. I like my banana pancakes.
You know, they just put maple syrup in. It's just gonna, by the time you get to the second one, it's just cold,
Yeah.
gungy mess.
Yeah.
Awful. I don't understand this butterscotch, the huge stacked pancakes. It's too
What?
much. Give me a crepe.
Well, no. So in America, if you go to somewhere like IHOP, you order something and it's bigger than your head, and you have like 3 bites of it, and then you ask if you can have it to take home, and they put it in this styrofoam container, and then you just eat off it for about 9 months.
But
Yeah.
why would you go to America to go to an IHOP? Surely you can go to an IHOP anywhere. That's the point. It's international.
You'd think so.
It's international, like the World Series baseball. It's only in New York.
And like a couple of Japanese teams.
I don't know. Unless it's covered in a film, I have no knowledge of it.
I'm sure Tokyo Drift mentions it. That's a film that's set in 2014.
I see we've not covered that one.
Oh, do you want to come and redo the whole Fast and Furious franchise with us, Sarah?
Sort of. And I also... I was reading about the best way to watch them chronologically, and that
Oh god.
Oh,
after 6 that you watch 3. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, if you don't watch the credits bit for 6.
Yeah.
1, 2, 4, 5,
5, 6, then 3.
6, without the credits, 20 minutes of 7, 3, 7, 8, Hobbs and Shaw 9, I guess. Yeah.
And just so that this works in the future too, and then 10 and 11.
Yeah.
Unless one of them also spends like 25 minutes of the film set before all of it.
And it's their grandparents.
What if F9 has that and now we're completely and utterly out of sync?
Well, we know Universal listened to this because they stole our
They'd stole
Fast
Fast
Riders.
Riders as the concept in the first place, yes.
So they're currently doing reshoots to re-releasing it.
They're re-releasing it,
yeah.
cat style,
just to
updated
screw with
CGI.
us again.
And now it's the grandparents. It's yeah.
And there's buttholes all over the place. It's weird.
Gosh. Oh, good golly! Why are we? You know what? I would send you to jail, but don't worry, because Magdalena Shaw is already in jail.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's the end of that.
Helen Mirren just behind bars.
Yeah, I didn't even know she worked in a pub.
She'd be a great landlady.
Yeah, she would be.
Oh,
Actually.
she'd have the banter, but she'd have the right amount of "Oi, you stop it! Get out your bard."
It's true.
I'd love it.
You'd think she'd inherit the Queen Vic.
Oh yeah, because she's played the Queen.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes.
Has she played Victoria as well? She must
say
have
yes.
at some point. Everyone has. So
Yeah.
legally, she's played both roles. She should just go straight up to it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, logically. Let's get her on EastEnders. Let's cut her career in blockbuster Hollywood short to go on EastEnders like Deli Dyer did.
She did play Victoria, but they de-aged her to look like Emily Blunt.
They didn't need to do much de-aging then.
Yeah.
Helen Mirren is ageless.
Yep.
And she is struggling because she's behind bars and Deckard's there picking up the phone and she's like, "Why are you still here? Why haven't you broken out yet?" She's like,
She doesn't want
she's 71 years old. She wants to have some alone time, do the Sudoku, but she wouldn't mind having a cake with a fire in it, if you know what I mean. I did check, by the way. So she's 71. This is 2019.
Yeah.
Right. And Deckard was born in 73.
Yeah.
And in a minute, we're going to cut to a flashback where we see young boy Deckard with young sister, Hattie. And yeah, I would say there's like maximum of 4 years difference there, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. How is this working out?
I love the fact that you skip past the fact that Idris Elba has cybernetic enhancements. Said that he carved out all of his human weakness and replaced it with mechanical perfection, and you're questioning the aging of somebody.
Oh, we're all about timelines.
The timelines are so much more important than anything technological going on with the science fiction of this world.
Well, you're going to love a thought I have about the end of the film then.
Oh.
The end of the film where it reveals actually it was set in 1983.
Yeah.
And so that Deckard is only 10 years old. And he's got Jack disease. It's the only way that he and Vanessa Kirby could be relatives within a reasonable period of time. But yeah, they're doing this thing called the Keith Moon. They're showing like how, you know, he and Hattie used to have these things. And the Keith Moon, it's loud and it causes hearing damage. And they blow up a safe because they're like, ooh, we're bantering, we're young folk who do things.
It's a bad way to do it, though, isn't it? Because like not all the notes seemed legible when they blew up the safe, so they lost a bit of money. You know,
I think if I ever wanted to do something that involved retrieving money, I'd try very hard not to blow it up.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea of destroying money. We should go back to the barter system. Sorry, the banter system. That's what I meant. Which is why I love this film. It's the banter system.
Do you think he's got all these techniques? Because we only see a couple. We see the Keith Moon and we see
Mick Jagger.
Yeah. But do you think
the
he's
star
got
caused the distraction?
Do you think he's got loads of these techniques and he's got it in like a playbook kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Something quite fun. Yeah.
Who else have we got?
And he always has to shout them out loud before he does
Yeah.
it. Melanie C.
That's the one where you're gone.
I'm trying to think what the Rod Stewart would be.
Roger Daltrey. You're just a wanker. He's just a Brexit wanker. Rod Stewart is the one where you get on a boat.
See, I was trying to think of something to do with his nose, because that's the joke we always go for with my mum, because she's a massive Rod Stewart fan, so we always talk about how big his nose is.
How big is his nose?
It's pretty big. That's why he plays in stadiums.
Oh. Aren't all noses like 2 inches or something? Isn't there like this thing where the length?
We're going to
to
talk about length size in an episode about Hobbs and Shaw. That's never meant to happen.
Oh yeah, I think so.
It seems inappropriate to discuss.
Well, it's a callback to the beginning where Shaw decided to hang someone, and he did it quite well.
Yeah.
Right, we're back on track now.
I can't even remember how this film goes, so I'm just letting Andrew.
Oh, we're back in the diner. Don't worry,
Right.
we're not done with the diner sequence. We're done with Helen Mirren for most of the film now. That's it, pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
But hey, we're back at the diner because we need to have Locke come in.
Fix a lock.
Yeah. Hello, I've come here. I've got to do some cement pouring, but I've got to get to London to look after this baby that's born out of wedlock. That's Academy Award winner Olivia Colman, who's having my baby. How's it going?
I need to rewatch Locke.
Yes, you do.
I'd completely forgotten that Ryan Reynolds pops up in this film.
No, not Ryan Reynolds. Locke. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds is here, and hey, do you like improvisation?
Ryan Reynolds does.
He's here. There's the CT17 virus called the Snowflake has been discovered.
Someone's triggered it.
It's programmable. It's designed to wipe out the weekly
Snowflakes always getting triggered, aren't they?
I mean, this stuff writes itself. I'd say it writes itself, but Ryan Reynolds did it all.
Yeah.
So they need Hobbs to go and sort it out.
I must say that I think the film would have been infinitely better if it just had Ryan Reynolds and The Rock in it. Plus all the supporting cast members. But I think it would have been a better film if it was in fact Hobbs and Locke.
Well, as I often do with the Fast and Furious films, I have the trivia page from IMDb up and running. And I did spot a thing earlier where Ryan Reynolds suggested that he just come and play Deadpool in the movie.
Pardon.
Which would have been just perfect.
How?
It would have been spectacular.
Yeah, it would have been interesting. Like, just not even mention, like, why or how.
Why didn't he just play Buried in it instead? Wouldn't that be fun? He just comes in there, he's just
hopping around in a box.
Yeah. Complaining that there's a snake maybe there and getting a phone call from Stephen Tobolowsky.
He could pretend he's a policeman too and be Nick Buried.
Policeman 2.
It's a reference to the classic 90s TV show Heartbeat.
Jesus Christ. I thought I'd heard that name before, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Meanwhile,
so,
Shaw's getting the same information dump from Rob Delaney.
Yep.
Who doesn't have a name.
Too.
And then they go and talk to each other on the phone, Rob Delaney and Ryan Reynolds, and they're like, "Do you reckon your guy will be up for working with my guy? Yeah, there's no problem there. Right? Right, guys? No problem."
Yeah, I agree with that. That happened, yeah.
Yep. No fucking way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was hoping you'd all key in at the same time.
Sorry.
It's a shame. Because they both say that at the same time, you see. They use their swear word simultaneously. They're looking at each other like in a split screen. They both say it at the same time. Isn't that fun?
Time for later.
I'm very intrigued to see where you bring it in now.
When I stub my toe.
Yeah, so this was improvised as well, wasn't it? Them throwing insults at each other.
Just what, the idea of throwing insults at each other?
No, the insults that they throw.
Yeah, probably, because hey, there's a lot of insults they throw at each other, and they add nothing to anything, and they're not smart, and they make an hour and 25-minute movie 2 hours and 15 minutes. So makes sense that they're all improvised.
This is interesting. It actually isn't. I almost panicked when I saw that it was, well, it's either 2 hours 17 or 2 hours 16, depending on which website you look at. But about 12 minutes of that runtime is credits.
Are you counting the two mid-credits and post-credit sequences, though?
Yes, the credits, yeah.
I did spot that when I watched it, because it was like 2 hours in, or just over 2 hours in, and the credits started. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I ran out of film.
Yeah.
Where's the film gone?
Someone stole it and rightfully deleted it.
Yeah, it turned into a book at the end. It was weird.
Yeah, it was a chapter from the Book of Saw at the end. Because it was torture.
Well, here's a bit of trivia for you. In one argument between Hobbs and Shaw, Dwayne Johnson decided, so not all the insults are ad-libbed, but Dwayne Johnson decided to ad-lib and came up with a lie about knocking Shaw's teeth so far down his throat he'd need to stick a toothbrush up his ass to brush them. Jason Statham was so amused by the ad-lib that he broke character and started laughing. That's the take that was used in the film. A little bit of trivia for you. You're welcome. Carry on. I'll come back when I have more to say.
Are you actually going to walk away?
Yeah. That's how I do this.
Walk down the street and then run back when you have a...
Yeah. That's my process.
Makes sense.
Carry on, man.
Hattie heads to the Savoy and she pops on a wig and some sunglasses, and for some reason this makes her look exactly like Sally Hawkins.
Paddington runs up to her.
I would love this if suddenly, she pops in there and Paddington's there, and then it's like, I can't hang out with you because I'm mute now and I'm going to hang out with this alien. I'm going to have sex with an alien.
And suddenly this film is better than Citizen Kane.
Everything's better than Citizen Kane.
Yeah, true. Is this the Citizen Kane of Fast and Furious films, though?
And that it's over long, yes.
I can't wait to see the manked version of this.
Chris Morgan getting drunk at a party, hurling out insults, and then Twain and Jason write them down like, "Oh, actually, this is good bloody material. He's got some crackers here. I mean, he's saying some horrible things about our friends. He's got some real gossip he's laying down on everyone. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to write this down. Testicles through shards of glass. Classic." But Shaw, Deckard, knows her safe house, heads there, and discovers there's a tripwire connected to a grenade, so he opens it carefully and finds a computer on a kitchen counter. That's the thing that happens. Yep. And then some people come in and there's a fight scene there with like 4 people.
Oh, yeah.
Remember this? I mean, I haven't got many notes about this.
I watched it, but minutes ago.
Right? Classic fight. There's a fight, and then, you know, then the pin comes out of the grenade, and then he has to put it back just before it blows up or something.
Yeah.
That was pretty tense, that scene. I thought, if that goes off, this film's going to go in a completely different...
Oh, man.
They're going to have to change the logo.
They wouldn't have to do much, because they would just get Luke Evans in.
That's true.
There's always a Shaw. You can be sure of that. Meanwhile, Hobbs manages to catch Hattie around the backside of Savoy looking over the embankment. They have a little bit of a fight because he's trying to bring her in.
Yep.
And then he does.
Well, she does really well in the fight, I must say.
She's good at, you know, manipulating things and moving about.
Mm.
Turns out she's aerobic. Acrobatic?
It was a new kind of pen. Got your normal Bic, then you've got aerobic. Which you fire out of a bow.
I tell you, you put your pen in your mouth when you're thinking. Don't do that with the aerobic ones because you're just going to eat it. It's bubbly, delicious.
I got nothing. That was what I was going to go for. So.
Hive mind.
I feel left out, but I'm just going to say I was going to go for that too.
The trifecta.
Now I want an arrow.
I want Euro.
Oh.
Then we go to Etion. Finally, this is Sarah. This is when we get to hang out with Brixton and see him get upgraded.
One thing I will say is that building is made of glass. There's not a lot of privacy there.
That would have been perfect. Just everything going on, and like you just see people walking by and Fopper staring.
You're right. Been doing some hiking. You see what's going on over there, like.
It's a fancy greenhouse.
All greenhouses are fancy.
Right.
Except for the one in Scum. That's not quite so fancy. That was a fun time. Anyway, at the CIA black site in the Shard.
Yes.
Hobbs goes out to FaceTime with his daughter and do this people's eyebrow thing.
Oh, yeah. I wonder where you got that from.
Right?
That was an
great.
And Hattie beats up a CIA guy.
Yeah.
In the background, like with a chair a bunch of times. And it's this comedy beat where he's not focusing on what's going on. He's focusing on his daughter or something.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Then Deckard comes in to rescue her. And Hobbs is like, why are you here? What are you doing? Get your hands off my, target. Like, he's not my target. She is my sister.
Did we know this before she says?
No. We know he had a sister.
Oh, right, okay.
And by the fact that she's the only other character in the film, we knew it was that. Yeah. But they hadn't announced it because, maybe the 5 people who were watching this and going, "This is a good film," didn't know that yet.
Yeah.
I only knew I'd been to a few of their family barbecues.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were they rooftop based or were they backyard based?
Both. There was shrubbery on the roof.
What were they serving? I mean, alcoholic beverage wise.
They were serving fierce looks.
That's interesting. Kind of scary, actually.
It is.
I don't like being looked at.
Oh. That would explain this audio only podcast.
I mean, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But I am staring at the computer screen fiercely. Does that come across at all?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
getting a sense of that.
Yeah, I always get that every week.
I just want to make sure I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm feeling the intensity.
Okay.
And he is in that tent.
I mean, it's Glastonbury. It's festival season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sure is.
Anyway, speaking of festivals, Hattie reveals she has the virus in the palm of her hand. You know, like she's just been stamped.
Which is like festivals at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Brixton comes in with some group of people. They break in to the window of the shard.
Oh,
And
wow,
they,
is this?
and they steal Hattie. And
Yeah.
they start sailing down.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then,
this is a
Hobbs
fun
and
moment.
Shaw both go over to the edge and they're like, right, we're going to go and we'll leap down and grab it together, right? 3, 2, 1, and then Hobbs goes. And Shaw's like, nobody tells me what to do. And he gets in the lift.
Yeah, I like this. This is fun. No, just me. Okay.
I must say, I was very impressed that Hobbs just free falls through the sky to land on the baddie person, and then afterwards doesn't even mention it. Like, imagine if you decided that you're descending down the side of a building on a rope, and you decide just to let go and just to fall for ages. You'd mention it for at least an hour afterwards, wouldn't you?
Look, like
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago, he got out of a hospital bed, flexed his arm to break the cast, jumped into an ambulance and drove the ambulance into a drone, shot the drone with a pistol, and then ripped the Gatling gun off the drone to fire at a helicopter, ultimately only to drop the Gatling gun, to pick up the pistol again, to fire it at some grenades that had been planted there by his family, Dominic Toretto, and explode a helicopter.
So
That
this
is
is just
like-
Monday.
This is just, a holiday.
It's by no means the most controversial thing he's ever done,
Not even close.
because that's coming up later in the film.
Oh,
Excited, we're going to get to things.
We are. Keep listening, folks.
So as Hobbs is falling, he smashes a guy into the lift,
yeah.
trying to get Shaw's attention, and then Shaw calls him a wanker.
That's a gorgeous moment. I just love that fucking wanger.
Because the two of them, right, they can't get along.
They can't,
Yeah.
can they?
They can't get along. This is the 3rd film they're hanging out with each other, and they just can't seem to become friends.
It's so frustrating if they just looked past that and got to know each other.
Right? I mean, even in Fate of the Furious, they said in a different life they'd probably be best friends.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
can't this be the different life?
Yeah. It's a different film.
It is very much a different film. Because this
They're
one's
basically Ross
Sure.
and
Are you saying they want a break?
I think so.
No.
They're on a big building.
They fall to the ground. They fight. Brixton does that thing again,
Yeah.
and then manages to fight both of them off a little bit. And it also mentions that hey, Shaw put a bullet in Brixton's head once, and now he's better than ever.
Yeah, we'll never see that. That would have been fun to see in like a flashback kind of thing.
Yeah, but if he was in a flashback, he'd be way too young.
Yeah, true.
We've established flashbacks are only for children.
Yeah.
But,
And they didn't give it a name. Yeah, it wasn't named. What would it be called? What celebrity would they name shooting someone in the head after?
the Kurt Cobain,
Well, okay, let's
or
move
the
on.
or the
Maybe
Phil
not.
Spector. Depending on who's being shot at, is it the self or is it the other? I guess it's the Phil Spector.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
didn't get. I was going to say. Anyway, Hobbs, Shaw, and Hattie get in a car and try and escape, but Brixton gets on his special computer bike.
Yep. It's Transformer.
He's Transformer, and this is the important part because they're on the streets of London, and in the middle of this
Yeah.
chase, they pass a Greggs.
This is the big takeaway from the film.
I literally have it written down. They passed by a Greggs because I know this was the most important part of the whole thing.
Yes. I remember seeing this in the cinema, and when I rewatched it, I thought the exact same thing that I thought the first time around. That's not London.
Why
Wasn't
not?
it filmed? Was it Newcastle? Some of it was filmed in
I think this part was Scotland somewhere.
Scotland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who of giant Greggs?
Yeah, I want to go there.
What would they have? Just bigger sausage rolls?
Oh man, probably. And I brew, obviously.
Iron brew donuts? Do you reckon they would do that?
It's a good
Maybe-
Well,
idea.
now we have to find out.
Maybe covered. Maybe would it be like the icing would be iron brew flavored, or would they
Oh,
have like jelly?
Jam, yeah.
Jam,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Damn.
Ugh.
Now I'm craving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. So Brixton's bike can jump around. He leaps off a wall
jump up and say,
and gets down.
get down now, is it?
Yeah. And then Hobbs opens a car door and grabs another guy, baddie on a bike, and
Yeah.
holds him for a while, and then smashes him into a wall.
I quite like
Actually,
it. Quite good.
Yeah, that's a good way to kill someone.
Yeah,
If you're in
this
the
is a fun
interest of
movie.
murder.
There's some
You're
fun
right.
moments
This
in
is a fun movie.
Yeah. What happens next?
Oh, they slide under a lorry, and it causes a bus to skid.
Fun.
And then Brixton slides under the lorry, and then he does this turn because he's got a computer bike.
Yeah.
And then he leaps into the bus, and both sides of the bus have a "Welcome to London Tourism Board" advert on it. But on both sides of this bus,
Yeah.
he jumps right through. Not one of them has cats written on it. And
Yeah, I
with
know.
the colour and the fairy lights of cats on the bus posters they used to have. Remember those? Remember those
Yeah.
cats posters? God.
Never forget cats.
Johnny, I can never forget cats. And
You're
thanks
welcome.
to you.
You're welcome. But yeah, so yeah, he jumps through the bus and he crashes and he stands up and gets all angry. What I
He
really
takes
want to
his
hear,
hat off, he stomps on
Yeah.
it, goes, "Rassle, frassle, rassle, rassle."
what I really wanted here was a shot of the bus driver just looking at him like, what the hell?
And the bus driver's a cat.
Yes, that's what we needed.
I'm the terror of the times. Also, you owe me some damage.
The themes, thank you very much.
Don't blame me, I am Beowulf. Anyway, they get away, and Brixton's like, right, everybody, frame Hobbs and Shaw for everything that's just happened. It's their fault entirely. So we get a nice shot of Piccadilly, London, as famed news channel LSTV broadcast the information that Hobbs and Shaw are evil people or something.
It's basically the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home.
It is basically the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home, except for we don't have J. Jonah Jameson, who is a reputable news source. We have LSTV, which I don't know what LSTV is. Is it London
Square?
Speaks Television?
Well, we know that they're one of their most cherished viewers, Mike Hunt, calls in quite often.
We're not going to read surnames anymore. Grow up, okay?
Oh, it's been a fun week.
Sorry if our audio is a bit echoey at the moment. We are recording this in a venue, which sometimes our cameras go dark, and I'm trying to show you. It's a beautiful picture of this puppy who saved her life, and it's a beautiful picture. It's really great television, actually. I just wish we could get to it.
Oh, is that
Really
wrap-up music playing? Right. We think that we're wrapping up. Sorry, stop that.
Have we?
Let's carry on.
Have we got? No, we haven't got. Well, it would have been good.
Oh, it's been a fun week. Carry on, sorry.
Hey, news broadcasts, do better. Anyway, Hattie needs to find the scientist who could possibly help remove the virus, and enter Eddie Marzan, playing our favourite character, Professor Andreika.
Another actor I forgot was in this film, Eddie Marzan.
He dies in every film that he's in, basically, by that director.
Yeah.
David Leitch. Yeah, he dies in Deadpool. He definitely dies in Atomic Blonde. Yeah, he's David Leitch's lucky charm by way of murder. Isn't that charming?
It's like how Chris Nolan has Killian, yeah, Killian Murphy in it.
Killian's Murphy.
And he always has Killian Murphy in with a bag on his head, or usually most of the time.
Yeah, because he's looking at the wet lip key and going, "Oh, your lips are too wet. I can't stop looking at you. I need to focus on the film." And every time I look at your wet lips, I have to sit down. Of course, I have no chairs on the set, so I can't. Kill, mask up.
Yeah.
Which is what he doesn't do in Dunkirk in his head. He just locks him in a back of a boat and makes him push the boy down and kill him. That wasn't planned. Barry Keoghan actually died on set. Barry Keoghan was now a clone.
Because he didn't realise that he was using his nickname, so Chris didn't want to kill. And he was like, no, don't. No. I meant kill Ian.
Who's Ian?
We'll never know.
I'll tell you who's been told not to kill, though.
Go on.
Brixton is told not to kill Hobbs and Shaw by this mysterious voice. Mysterious voice wants to turn them into assets instead. But he's like, they can't be turned. Mysterious voice.
Given by...
Mysterious voice. In the end credits, I forget what the credits say the person is called, but whatever that name is a name that Ryan Reynolds used on Amazon to review his gin.
Yes, it is. It is Ryan Reynolds' voice that they use, but it's not his. It's not supposed to be his character. We don't know who it is, but we know they've had dealings with Hobbs before.
Well, it's not his character in this one because, of course, this is just Ryan Reynolds doing his normal voice. But in the rest of the film, when he's playing Locke, of course, he's talking about wearing sweaters and cement, and he's got a Welsh accent. We know that.
What if the voice character is who he meant when he said he just wanted to play Deadpool?
He did do a couple of interviews at one point saying he was really excited about who he gets to act alongside. It's a legend he always wanted to act alongside in this film, right?
Yeah.
And then, we regretted it a couple of months later when the hype got too big.
Turned out to be Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Isn't it always the way, though?
Yeah. Turns out the voice is just some named Boner.
So Njoika is found.
Yeah.
And he looks at the palm and goes, you've only got 48 hours now. From now, we've only got 48 hours.
And Eddie Murphy says, what?
Another 48 hours.
Films, but yes.
And the capsules will dissolve into her bloodstream and she'll die, right? So there's only two options.
Kill her.
Option one isn't just to kill her, burn her body.
Yep.
Good option, right?
Properly burn it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they burn it. There's nothing in this film that has a way to burn anything. We won't get to anything. Option two is there's a machine that can remove the virus.
It's called the virus machine.
But it's at Etienne's science place.
Yeah, it's an Norton antivirus.
Yeah. Actually, it's McAfee. That's the worst part. Norton, you can download. McAfee, you kind of have to get a floppy disk and install it that way.
Now I want Graham Norton in this film. Finally.
Playing floppy disk?
Yes.
Ooh! Can't fit in there. So Hobbs and Shaw wanted. They can't get out of the UK.
Yeah.
They need to get to Etienne, which is, somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
They don't quite know yet, but Deckard's got like this underground bunker in a pub.
Yep.
So they go to his HQ, and there's lots of cars there, Johnny.
Yes. This was one of the things we were talking about, and you didn't even realise as you were doing the notes.
Oh yeah, because I didn't give a fuck.
There's a Mini. A Mini Cooper is at the end of the line of cars, and Jason Statham clearly says, Shaw clearly says, I used that on a job in Italy, an Italian job, if you will. So canon.
But it actually isn't, because in that film, he drives that car in Los Angeles, not in Italy.
Yeah, the Italian job, the first 20 minutes of the Italian job, and then Ed Norton turns tail and kills Donald Sutherland, and everything else is them heisting him in LA. Duh.
Oh.
And the sequel was always meant to be the Brazilian job. And then F. Gary Gray kind of got to do it because he got to work with Statham and Charlize again.
I haven't watched that in ages. Well, that's
Italian job,
because I was really excited.
Great, holds up. Yeah, it's almost like the people who made Hobbs and Shaw didn't watch actual films.
It's almost like Jason Statham forgot the film he was in.
I mean, look, he's been busy. He worked with Uwe Boll.
What, the famous boxer?
So he gives everybody a disguise. He also mentions that the one he gives to Hobbs might be a little bit too loose around the crotch area for him, because Shaw's already worn it in. because he's got big balls, you see.
Lads.
Right. And also he makes new IDs for everybody really quickly.
Yeah.
So, Hattie's ID. She's Sarah Atkins, Australian. She works in insurance and she's a part-time ski instructor.
Yep.
Deckard here. He's Franz Gruber. He's a freelance architect. He's an avid mountain climber.
But you know, of all the characters played, that's the one that's fit Jason Statham the most.
Yeah.
I don't see him as an action person. I see him as an architect.
He looks like an architect.
He does.
Yeah.
And that hat he has on is so cute.
And then, of course, we've got Hobbs.
Yep.
Michael.
Yep.
Oxmore.
Yeah, but what's his name?
Michael Oxmore.
But if you're friends with him.
If you're friends with him, I guess you call him Hobbs because you know that's a fake name. What are you talking about?
If you're friends with Michael, you'd call him Mike, right?
My brother's called Michael. I don't call him Mike.
Oh.
I call him brother.
Yes. Just in case you're in a movie, so people know.
Yeah, exactly. I like to set out for any kind of, information and explanation quickly. What are you trying to get at, folks?
Wow. His cock's small.
Okay, but what's that got to do with anything? What's his
That's
name?
his name.
Well, you'd expect it to be at an airport, wouldn't you?
Shrinkage, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the air pressure.
Also, again, this is LSTV News. We're not going to do any more surnames. We're not reading them out, okay? He's Michael
Damn good week.
And his biometrics have been futzed around with by Deckard, and he is detained so that that Deckard and Hattie can go and fly off together. He's taken out back to do some cavity searching, but then a couple of seconds later he comes back in because he's so charming. They let him go, even though he was wanted. They're like, "Nah, we're still going to let you go. Who cares?"
Yeah.
Because nothing in this film has any consequence. And then they sit down on a plane together, and it's 5 minutes of these two guys talking about how big their genitals are and how Hobbs is going to have sex with Hattie Shaw at some point.
Oh, and then we get our first cameo.
This is 5. I counted. This is actually 5 minutes of just these two men doing this.
Blimey.
Before finally someone tells them to shut up.
Yeah.
And that person, of course, is Air Marshal Kevin Hart.
Air Marshal Dinkley.
I don't think that's a character name. I think that's a Mike Oxmore name.
Another actor.
I think he's playing Kevin Hart in this film.
Another actor I did not realise was in this film. I completely forgot. I've only ever seen this once when it came out in the cinema.
The Rock.
Yep. So Dinkley's here, and they call him out as being an air marshal immediately because he doesn't even try to hide the fact that he is one. But now he wants to be part of the team. Everyone wants to be part of their team for some reason.
Yeah.
And then we cut away because Androika is then caught by Brixton and gets sent to Etion HQ. And then we reveal something very important here because Brixton ties him up and then reveals, I've got written down here, a Rick Dalton machine.
Rick Dalton machine?
Oh, sorry, it's called a flamethrower.
Right. Now I will watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Or I could just read the book.
Could do both at the same time. Anyway, we go to Moscow because there's a mansion where Madame M, I had to find this information out because that's got a character name that is listed here, and her group of feminist hijackers are looting a Russian mafia mansion, tying these people up and taking everything, and she kisses Deckard, then shows them where Etienne's main HQ in Ukraine is, and hands them some parachutes and some stuff and says, go and do that, and then hands Hattie over to Brixton so that she can infiltrate. Mm-hmm. This is a scene that happens. It was good to see that Deckard Shaw can kiss a woman, because otherwise I was scared that he was just someone who was concerned about the welfare of his sister. But now we also know that he has women all over the globe who want to kiss him.
Yeah.
But only in front of his sister.
Only in front of his sister and
his new work.
Fair play. Anyway, they parachute down into a cooling tower. Oh no! Wait a second. Sorry, they try to eject first, and Hobbs ejects Shaw first and says, "Don't tell me what to do." They do. They will find that thing there, and then they jump into a cooling tower, and they plant a 45-minute bomb.
Yep. Oh, and then we have the corridor scene, right?
And plot device.
It sounds like a very convenient plot device. Also, Brixton quickly tells Hattie, "Hey, the plan for this virus and Etienne in general, we're going to kill the weak people, the strong will survive, and we're going to have a new world order or something." It's just, it really is thrown away as this is what we're doing, I guess. So you're going to have to save the world.
Again.
And now we come to two doors, and they look through. Shaw looks through his door with some sort of technology, and there's like a bunch of people. He's like, "Actually, you should take this door, and I'll take your door, Hobbs." And Hobbs is like, "Nah, this one's my door, because you can only see one man behind it." And he opens the door, and the man is a big man. He's a big man, bigger than Hobbs.
And he has a weapon.
Yep.
He has a wrench, which, as we all
He's
know,
got his tool in his hand.
Dominic Toretto killed a guy with a wrench before the Fast and Furious even happened. So we know that wrenches are very dangerous with big men.
Yes.
Not as dangerous as a brick.
Which you can stab someone.
people. Yeah.
You can. Actually, quite easy.
Don't know how. That seems ridiculous. No way is it easy. No one would ever be able to do that. But Hobbs knocks this guy out so quickly.
Yeah.
That's the joke, right? He's big, but he's weak. And then we watch Shaw fight a bunch of guys and smash them into the wall again. And then they go and do the biometrics with a face scanner at the other side of the corridor.
I thought they said something like, "We can't kill them because we need we need to scan their eyes."
Yep.
Yeah.
But their eyes are closed because they're knocked
because
out.
he's knocked them out and he hasn't opened their eyes again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense. But that's the problem, because if he killed them, they'll, as you know, evaporate, so he can do it.
Yeah, eyes are very temperamental things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can open doors that read your eyes with your eyes closed, apparently. Okay. So they open the doors.
So he smashes everyone's face in for a while and then finds one person with an open eyes, which he doesn't have to open himself because apparently he can't touch eyes himself, I guess. And then they open up, and then, hey, everyone's looking at them, and Brixton's there, like, well done.
Yeah.
And then chains them up.
Yep.
Chains them up, and
chains.
It's electric chains, and they will kill per person 4 times. With 4 charges.
Yeah. But they can go to 5.
Oh yeah, Hobbs is so sure they can go to 5. Meanwhile, whilst you're doing all that stuff, Hattie breaks free from the table she's tied to and kills a couple of guards.
Yeah. That
just happens. Didn't tie her up very well.
Yeah.
Kind of stupid considering who she is and how important she is. Oh, and Brixton calls himself Black Superman.
Yeah. That line was originally Black Bond, but he refused to say it.
Yeah, because that'd be stupid. Black Superman makes sense. Black Bond doesn't make sense in that thing.
That's the thing.
He should have said Robocop, though.
Yeah. That would have worked. But yeah, Black Bond doesn't work.
Captain Marvel?
Yeah. Black Shazam.
Black Shazam.
I guess we already said that. Black Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Technically.
Black Man? And then he looks at the camera and goes, "But I'm no hero."
But yeah, we get
how many cavity does he say?
Oh, now we're talking. Now we are talking.
Is there anyone like McCavity?
There's no one like McCavity.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I haven't watched it in a while, to be fair. We've had musical months, so I've had other musical songs. How what?
Oh, you said to be sure, right? I'm going to gaslight you to saying famous Irish phrases at some point.
Wow, so rude. How many electric shocks do we get?
I think about 3, is it?
I think we get 3.
Yeah. Oh, is that only 3?
Yeah, it's not many because then Hobbs decides to he's going to side with Etienne.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, actually, that's a good idea. Right. Okay. And then Hattie immediately comes out and it's like, I'm going to do some kicking here.
Yeah.
And then he's going to Brixton.
He does motion to Shaw, and he says, if we were in a band, you would be. Who is it?
Hanson.
Did you say Hanson?
Yeah.
Op.
Oh, if only. I wonder what a Hanson is. What is the name? It's Mick Jagger.
Jagger.
Yeah.
Distraction.
And that's how Shaw knows.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's not really important because it doesn't matter.
I know, but it's a nice little beat.
Because Hattie then aims a gun at Brixton, and it's like, ha, good luck with that, because you can't shoot him. They need activation codes, and the codes are in the gloves, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because here comes Eddie Marsan with a Rick Dalton machine to attack.
So good.
This is the only part that I kind of clapped in the cinema at.
Yeah.
Eddie Marsan with a flamethrower.
Yeah. It's pretty damn good.
So Hobbs and Shaw are free. Hattie finds a glove and starts shooting. Shaw gets in a jeep. Hattie jumps in with there, and then Androica's just killed. Eddie Marsan is just like, yep, Brixton just kills him. And then Hobbs heads into there's a truck where it's got the machine in it. So he's heading that way. Brixton gets on his special Tron bike. And then the bomb blows up, so everything starts exploding.
Because why not?
I mean, this is when, you see the Ukrainian nuclear facility start collapsing, and you're like, this seems in bad taste. So the Shaws hit a ramp thing and jump into a second floor of a warehouse, and then Hobbs is driving a huge truck around there, smashing drones and things again. And then Hattie leaps into the Jeep, and then Shaw leaps on the back of the Jeep. Leaps on the back of the truck. And then Brixton lands there, and they have a fight, and they do more of that stuff where you can predict where Jason Statham's going to be punching.
Yeah.
And then buildings start collapsing, and they manage to escape, and Brixton's just left lying there.
Yeah.
Piece of trivia, by the way, the advanced technology isn't predicting how people are going to hit him. He just has the script preloaded.
There was a script?
Yeah.
Could have fooled me. Maybe that's why he does get punches landing on him at some point as well. That with the improvs. But so they escape, but the machine's damaged. Who can fix it? Where can they go to escape?
It's time to go home.
This is an hour and 25 minutes in the film, and now we go to Samoa.
Blimey.
Nothing has happened in this first 85 minutes. Toy Story at this point has established an entire world, a whole story, characters you love, songs you love.
But we've still had fun. Can't say we've not had fun. We've had Dwayne Johnson jumping down buildings and jumping onto people.
Ryan Reynolds was good at the beginning.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was there at the beginning.
Well, yeah, so now we get a change of setting at least. That's interesting.
We get a change of setting, and they're in a car, and they're on the phone.
Yep. Asking what they're wearing.
Kevin Hart's there, and off screen he helped charter a private jet without being on the record.
Yeah.
And he's talking from a toilet stall. Isn't that fun? And he wants to still be part of the team. He still wants to be part of the team. So Decker just throws the phone out the car window, and Hobbs like, "That was my phone. How dare you?"
Honestly, you describing the film is better than the film.
Thank you. Thank you. It's worth writing all this unnecessary stuff. Now they reach the Hobbs house.
Yep, Hobbs house. Yep.
Right, and apparently Jonah is the best mechanic in the world. He can fix anything, even this device that no one's
Can
ever
you
seen.
fix their relationship though?
Right? See, now you're getting into the crux of it. It's metaphorical, right?
Oh.
There are deeper meanings here at play.
See, it's fun and deep.
That's on my Twitter profile.
That's my Tinder profile.
They're the same thing. We share a profile. I don't know why we do that.
What happens next?
Oh, well, he's Hobbs is about to open the door. He knocks on the door and waits. And Hattie and Decker are like, $50 as he punches him in the face. And they open the door, and it's Jonah, it's Cliff Curtis, and he punches him in the face.
Hey!
And Hobbs falls down the stairs.
Trading. You knew that was going to happen.
Did we?
Well, yeah, no, I think that Shaw definitely knew he was going to punch him because of the script.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't. I was in the cinema and I put money down and I had to hand money over to Sean. I felt really guilty, but I felt awkward about that. That bastard. I thought I had good odds as well. I thought there's no way Hobbs is going to get another punch landed on him.
Impossible.
No way, right?
It was 50-50 odds.
That's what I thought.
It's
He's
not.
more a tequila guy.
This was one of my champagne problems, I guess.
Twisty things all broken.
Anyway, they're about to have a little bit of a fight, Jonah and Luke. And then Mama Hobbs steps in and she's like, don't fight. We're family. Everyone is welcome here.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Vin Diesel.
Except for Vin Diesel, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, those days are gone.
Yeah.
So Jonah doesn't believe that they were set up. He's like skeptical about the whole group coming over here. He thinks they're actually bad guys.
Yeah.
Mm.
But we know Brixton, bad guy.
Black Superman.
Definitely Black Superman. And we also learn there were like 12 Hobbs boys here.
Yeah.
They're huge, talented mechanics and fixers. And apparently Hobbs was back in the day, Hobbs was the only one who saw through his father, who planned to use the family to steal drugs and various materials. And he put his father away in jail, and everyone doesn't like him because of that.
Yeah.
That was the basic idea.
I didn't know
that. That was in dialogue. That was in dialogue.
I wasn't listening when I was watching that.
There's a whole song about it.
You did miss the song. I can't believe this is a musical. You do know that.
Yeah, but they're not in digital fair technology, so I wasn't interested.
No, they're in digital fast technology.
Yeah.
So Brixton's now been given permission to kill Hobbs and Shaw because Ryan Reynolds is all like, right, who cares now?
Yeah.
Now head to Samoa.
Let's get this film over with.
Let's get this film over with.
Yeah.
And Hattie forms a connection with Luke because they were both the straight-laced ones in their family.
Yeah.
And then they go and like, right, well, we need to get prepared to have a fight on this island. Let's go to our gun cabinet.
Or just the cabinet, because there's no guns.
No, Mama Hobbs got rid of the guns. They only have these heirlooms to fight with now. So they have to go, guerrilla style.
Because gorillas have a lot of heirlooms.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. They pick them out of each other's fur.
Yeah, that's true.
Digital fur.
Uh-oh.
Have we gone bad already? So Hattie's got this idea that she's got this glove still from Etion. She can hack that and reverse the system and shut down all the weapons. So she's going to do that. And the Hobbs family start digging holes around the area and put mines in there. And they grab some old cars and they throw some gas canisters in there. And Hobbs just says, the island will provide, brother.
I love that the mum threw away the guns but kept the mines.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. I think they were too valuable. And also, you can sell guns online, whereas mines, you're going to have someone
You can't give them away because otherwise they'd be called yours.
That's a good one.
So the plan is they're expecting to be raided about dawn, so they're going to try and face off as the sun comes over the enemy, so it blinds them. That's their tactical planning.
Mm.
And they get a 6-minute window of no guns.
Right.
And then Hattie and Hobbs just have this have moment where they face the sunset together, thinking it might be the final time they ever see a sunset. And Luke, who regrets not showing his daughter the family and connecting them. Hattie wishes that she knew Deckard wasn't a bad guy all this time, so they would have connected more. And they agree that if they survive, they'll make amends. And they kiss on that. They say, well, that's our pact. Like in American Pie, where they all, raise a glass and say, we'll get laid before prom. Mm-hmm. This is the same situation. And I'm assuming Eugene Levy will come in and watch Hobbs fuck a pie at some point. Anyway, the machine is now back working because Jonah is a genius. But it takes 30 minutes to extract this stuff, so Hattie's got to run around with this backpack on full of a machine.
It actually didn't take 30 minutes.
It's going to take actual 30 minutes.
Yeah. The sun rises real fast in this place.
Well, that really bothered me because there's one scene where it's pitch black and then like in the next frame, it's like midday.
Yeah,
Yep.
Etienne starts coming in, and Hobbs appears shirtless. It's darkness, and he starts psyching these guys out. And then the brothers start appearing, and the guns don't work, and they blow up the cars. And then suddenly Shaw comes out with this with a car and starts creating a ring of fire.
Yep.
And then the sun's like
backing
all
up.
dark at this point.
I've just got Ring of Fire in my head now. Shall we watch Walk the Line?
Yeah, it goes down, 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 down.
No, we don't do that.
So we see a bunch of men fighting men
Batman
in
doesn't.
close combat. Batman does. Good for him. And then we get a helicopter as well now, because we haven't had enough vehicles in this film. A helicopter's coming in, and Brixton throws a motorbike at someone.
As you do.
Yep. Then he grabs Hattie and puts her on the chopper, and they fly off. And then in the middle of all this mayhem and melee on the island, Deckard Shaw turns to everybody and yells, "Hobbs!" And only Luke turns around.
But then he does the most controversial thing in the entire film. So the helicopter's escaping, there's chaos everywhere, carnage. He's in the middle of a chase scene. He has time to find a t-shirt and put it on. Where was
Jesus. That is phenomenal thought.
Yeah. I mean,
wow. Well noticed.
There was something about the t-shirt in the IMDb trivia. I'm trying to find. There were two things because there's a number on the t-shirt, right? Yeah. Hobbs wears a shirt with number 7 on it. Dwayne Johnson is a 7-time WWE champion. But the other thing was someone else has written that maybe the number 7 is, where is it? There's a lot of number 7s on this page. Hold on. Almost, I think. There we go. This could be a nod to Dwayne Johnson's production company, 7 Bucks Productions.
Incidentally, while we're talking about Easter eggs, so one of The Rock's brothers in the film is his real life cousin.
Yes.
Roman Reigns, who's the current champion, I believe, in WWE.
Yep, that was that as well. That was somewhere in here. There's a lot of trivia notes.
It's a very trivial film.
Yes. So what happens next? Because right?
Yeah, no. Shaw gets into a tow truck, and Hobbs gets on the back, and he holds the chain, throws the chain onto the chopper, and then has to, make sure the chain doesn't fly off because it's coming off. So he's like grabbing the chain as the helicopter is lifting the back end of the truck off the ground.
Mm.
So he's doing like the Captain America thing with the helicopter in the ground.
Yeah.
At this moment. And then the rest of the Hobbs family come in and try and hook up to each other. Which, this is basically a car centipede they're creating to stop everyone from hovering and keeping the helicopter close to the ground.
Yeah.
And then they all start hitting the NOS and pulling the chopper down.
You've got to have NOS.
You've got to have NOS. Right? But then, 6 minutes are up. 6 minutes are up. The guns are now online and everything.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy. But now they're hitting the minefield. And these things start flying up and hitting the chopper and blowing up some of these cars from the bad guys who are there as well. Bad guys.
Do you know what? I would have loved it if when the guns go online, they say there's an update available and it just automatically...
That would make a lot more sense.
Then they have to scroll through the terms and conditions.
I mean, there's like 235 pages of that.
Yep.
But you've got to make sure you're on Wi-Fi as well. It's just because it's gone online doesn't mean connected to a secure service. You can't just do it on 4G. That's ridiculous. It's going to be too much data. So you can't. It's actually just not usable. You can use some of the old stuff, so you can use blanks or look at some incendiaries, but you just can't use the proper ammo.
Mm.
So Hattie finally decides to break free now that the 30 minutes are nearly done and she's getting tired.
Yeah.
But it's not quite done. Because then the helicopter starts collapsing. and it falls down a ravine, and there's a storm coming, and then the truck is dragged down with it. So Hobbs and Shaw and Brixton and Shaw and a couple of other Etienne folk are dragged down into this rainfield.
It has its own weather system, doesn't it? Because
It
there's no.
does.
Yeah.
I mean, there were storm clouds on the horizon, but now suddenly it's just rain. And I don't mean the Korean pop star. I wish we did. So Hattie's held at gunpoint by some this Etienne guy because Brixton's like, look after her and then kill her when the thing's done. And he goes off and fights Hobbs and Shaw.
Yep.
But see, when they both attack at the same time, his system can only handle one threat.
Yeah.
Can't handle both. So
It
I'll
can
take
only handle
punch
one
and the
script.
other. And they agree that they'll take one hit as the other one gets a punch a bunch of times. They learn to work together briefly.
Aw, like friends. Like family.
Family.
Yeah. Like brothers.
So Hattie gets the thing extracted and then immediately kills the guy before he kills her. Because that was the thing that was about to happen.
Yeah.
And then Brixton is beaten. It turns out that all the technology in the world can't beat heart. Heartbeat.
And
So
all the
for
technology in the world can beat his heart. Because-
Etienne shuts Brixton down.
Yeah.
And he falls in the water, so he's not dead. He's down in AI territory, so he's going to wake up in like 100 years and hang out with Gigolo Joe. Which I'm very excited as Idris Elba and Jude Law to, have wild adventures together. With Teddy.
Wait. What is AI? Oh, right.
Artificial
do you know
intelligence.
what? Yeah, I was thinking of the Matthew McConaughey Anne Hathaway film.
Matthew McConaughey and Hathaway film.
Yeah.
Serenity.
Yeah. Don't know why that popped into my head. Sorry, carry on.
Wow. Well, you know who is second mate for Matthew McConaughey in that film, right?
No.
Mose Gicande, the greatest hacker in the world.
I did the test screening for that, and I've never seen the actual fully finished film.
Do you remember how many times Anne Hathaway uses the word daddy?
No.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I remember being very disappointed with it and not really participating in the feedback because I was just like, this is
Did you put your hand up and say, I wish it had more of my favourite character from your first film, Stephen Knight?
I just said there's no saving this and walked out.
There is absolutely saving this because you know who Stephen Knight's first film was?
No.
Locke.
Sorry?
Locke was his first film.
Oh, right.
And so if you brought Locke in, it was like, right, what if we cut every so often and the kid was also playing a car game in which he's playing a Welsh guy in a sweater driving from Cardiff to London overnight?
Oh, look at that. We've brought us all full circle.
Yeah. We're full circle. We're full circle.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Hobbs and Shaw are arguing about which one's the sidekick to the other one.
Yeah.
And the credits start beginning.
Yes. See, here, I thought, we've got about 17 minutes left. So I was like, there must be about 10 minutes of, like, wrap-up stuff. They go back to London and there's another split screen of them going to bed or something. But it just goes straight to credits.
Night, Luke.
Yeah. Like Father Ted and Dougal. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the end.
No, because during the credits we see Samantha visit the Hobbs family.
Yeah.
And then Hattie and Decker go and see Magdalene in prison. They bring her a cake.
Yeah.
Right? And Locke calls Hobbs.
Yeah,
So,
I forgot about this. What's the name that they use for this one?
right, okay. Well, no, before that, right, he's trying to talk to Luke, and he's like, no, Luke's not here. This is his daughter. It's like, oh, you've got exactly the same voice.
Yeah.
Which records yourself, and that's like a joke that goes on for half a minute on itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got what it's called, but it's just a new virus. It's just saying there's a new virus. It melts people from the outside, which is the opposite from melting people on the inside. And then he goes and spoils the end of Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Which at this point was like a month and a half old.
Creators of the show.
Sorry?
I think, to be fair, the creators of the show spoiled the ending.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, don't make television. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Make cinema so we can make podcasts. But Right, he jokes about the end of Game of Thrones, and everyone's like, "Oh, we haven't seen it yet. How dare you? We're watching a big blockbuster." And then they stay through the credits because they're so angry that halfway through the credits, Shaw's in a pub. He gets a phone call.
Yep.
Hobbs is checking in. He's like a good friend, and he also wanted to hear this. And police surround him and go, "Hugh Janus, come out with your hands up." Hobbs planned this, so Shaw opens the door. He's like, "You guys aren't ready for this." He's going to beat all these guys up. You're like, okay, that's an interesting way to end the film.
Is he going to do that, or is he going to sing, or?
He's going to recite cats.
Jellicle cats are jellicle cats are jellicle cats are jellicle. I don't know the lyrics.
I think that's basically it.
You've seen Cats 3 times at least, Andrew. 4 times? Not nearly enough times.
More than any human should. Not a cat. Maybe not a dog. But then, hey, you're like, well, I'll sit through the rest of this film anyway and see if there's anything besides the Universal Orlando Studios visit for Florida thing. And then we get the post-credits.
Yep.
And Locke's in pain now. He's like, oh, it really hurt. I've got blood on me. Oh, no, it's someone else's blood. It's fine.
Yeah.
You're still there. You're still there, Luke. I stabbed a guy with a brick. It was surprisingly easy.
And that's that.
And that's that. That literally is then. It's just like, oh, okay. End of the film. And that was the present from Fast and Furious.
Yep. And what was it you called it earlier?
Hobbs and Bore.
Hobbs and Bore.
Snore.
Hobbs and Snore.
2 options.
Still fun though. Have fun times.
Well, I think the reason I didn't call it Fast and Furious is because it's slow and tedious.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much goes on in it, but there's still some fun scenes. You know,
it is fun.
Yeah, you wouldn't ask for your money back, would you?
I've only seen it for free. I'll pay for it in a box set that was cheap.
It's on Sky Cinema at the moment, incidentally, if anyone wants to watch it.
There you go. You don't even need to listen to this podcast. You can watch it. It'll be an hour longer.
And has less to tell.
Where would we rank this? In the art of humanity.
Oh, right. Quite low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, middling to low.
Sarah?
So I think it was all right. It's very forgettable, but it was there are fun scenes, but honestly, I think most of the fun comes from the cameos and not from the cast. I think that the film could have just had The Rock in it and got rid of Jason Statham. He's not really needed in it. Idris Elba was decent enough as a villain, as he tells you every 4 seconds.
Okay.
It was all right. It was the Ewok Caravan of Courage to the Star Wars Episode 1.
I couldn't put it by myself.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with the cameos are the best part of it.
Yeah.
That was the part. Those were the moments where I was like, I perked up a bit. I was like, oh, I forgot he was in this. Oh, I forgot he popped up in this as well. And yeah, so I'd agree there. What cameos do you think I'm missing? If you could put one more cameo in, who would you put in there? Vin Diesel, right?
No.
Steve Martin. Steve Martin would be pretty good, actually, yeah. But he'd be too busy trying to get his car to join the Fast and Furious franchise. I can't remember the line that he uses, but he says a lot of F words.
Oh, you can't remember the line, can you, Johnny? Looks like you're fucked.
Yeah. And on that note...
Here's a question, though. Do you think there's going to be a Hobbs and Shaw 2, which I know they've talked about, or are we going to see them in 10 and 11?
Nope.
You don't think they will at all?
Vin is short for vindictive.
Yeah.
And so the decision to do this was like he told Jason Statham, if you do that, you're not going back to the family. And I can see him being like staunchly, I'm not going to sit and let this happen. Because their film was so bad, I can't have them ruin my films.
It would be a genuine surprise if they did turn up, though. wouldn't it?
It'd be a genuine surprise, but would it be good? It'd be like, oh, great. They brought Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart in this one, and now they're a foursome hanging out.
Isn't the idea, though, that Fast and Furious 10 and 11 are the Avengers Endgame of wacky races?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that means we get Speed Racer finally going into the franchise, as we all have wondered. Obviously, we have the Captain Caveman car, which is Chris Pratt in Jurassic World garb. Peter Perfect.
God, I haven't watched Wacky Races in far too long.
You haven't watched Wacky Races? What
I used to love that show. Yeah.
What have you been doing this
How
whole
come
lot?
there's not a Wacky Races movie?
Well, Dick Dastardly appeared in Scoob last year.
Yeah.
That's what they were trying to do. They're setting up the franchise like that. That's what we got instead. Scoob, which had Simon Cowell in it. because he had a licensing agreement with the company, and that was the film that ended up going with, as opposed to any of the other films he could have gone with. And so he's just sitting at a malt shop opposite them, and that's the whole thing. It's like, what is this? Who is this for? Why? So my cameo suggestion for the next Hobbs and Shaw, or even F10, would be Simon Cowell.
Why not?
Yeah, and he could be like, I like your singing voice, Dominic Toretto. I'm going to change your name to Vin Diesel and going to release some really good songs.
We need an album.
We need an album. Sarah, where can we find you?
So I am actually in your wardrobe at the moment, and
Thank you for being there, by the way. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's been.
You're looking after my clothes. You're making sure the moths don't eat them, and in turn, I give you a couple of threads.
Yeah, thank you both for inviting me back onto your illustrious Are You Movie Mad podcast for a second time. Almost unheard of.
Well, we had to invite you back.
No, it literally is unheard of. I've looked at the reviewing things.
Oh, you haven't released it yet?
Touché.
So you can find... Okay, so I've got a YouTube show which people might enjoy, which is the Sarah O'Connell Show on YouTube, which is an entertainment show with celebrity interviews. There's about 200 of them on there at the moment, and you can find me on Twitter at Sarah O_Connell, or Sarah O'Connell Show on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm also on Clubhouse at Sarah O'Connell.
200 celebrities. There can't be that many celebrities.
Oh, no. Well, no, it's 200 episodes.
Okay.
There's
12 celebrities. Who survives?
There has been some people returning up to 5 times, but I think some episodes have had up to 50 people in them, so there's well over 200 guests on my show. But yeah.
So you do a lot of work.
I'm quite tired. Yeah, I've already filmed the next 25 episodes.
Whoa. Listen, it's not a competition, okay?
I mean, it feels like it is now. Johnny, we've got to make sure there's enough Fast and Furious films to record episodes of now. Can we get 25 more?
How many more guests do we need?
I'm only in competition with myself. But so the thing is, I sometimes wish I'd just done unboxing videos or makeup reviews or something. Sourcing an actual famous person for every episode is a bit tricky. But so sometimes several come along at once. So I may film 3 or 4 in one day, and then I like to have like a backlog of them, so I've got some time to do some editing and just release them at my own pace, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I'm doing celebrities doing unboxing.
Oh, that's nice.
I think so.
Unboxing other celebrities.
I think you can film you boxing something, send it over to them, and they can unbox it, and it could be like a satisfying, narrative arc going on in a video.
Yeah, exactly. Or just film Frank Bruno on a day off. That's unboxing.
Johnny, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at movie_mad and Instagram at movie_mad. I believe you and Sarah are kind of the only 2 people I actually interact with on Twitter. When I'm on a rare occasion I tweet. I'm constantly amazed, Sarah, by just how much you put out there and how busy you keep yourself. I don't know how you can, like, I'm a professional procrastinator, and I just tag along to these
podcast episodes, and Andrew does all the work. So you're an inspiration.
The only reason I do as much as it might appear that I'm doing is because I'm putting off tidying the kitchen.
Fair enough.
That's all.
And the living room, it turns out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this will be video.
This is true.
Where can we find you, Andrew?
Oh, I'm on Twitter at Ethan Runt. I'm also on my burner account, Scott Derrickson. So, we enjoy my humorous content there and my updates on what's happening in me not directing Doctor Strange 2.
Mm.
And you can also find me at the cinema watching F9 The Fast Saga last week.
Yes.
And I'm assuming people do have the ability to have a time travel or understand narratives in a non-linear format like the Fast and Furious franchise have already established.
Exactly.
This has been the end of our journey.
Yeah.
Down the road not travelled.
I'm not sure if it is.
For now.
Well,
this is our last Friday.
There's more films. I'm sorry.
There's a lot more films.
Yeah.
But this is our last Fast and Furious film we're covering. And
there's a lot more Fridays.
I've got a question for you then.
Gosh.
So I think after or before, I can't remember, even though I read it today, Too Fast, Too Furious, isn't there 2 half-an-hour episodes? Like little mini things that they filmed.
There was. I only found out about this today.
What?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but we've already covered Too Fast. You see, we've done Los Bandoleros, we've done the ride. We didn't do the video game.
No, we didn't do the video game.
We didn't do the Lego Technic set, but it also feels like
there's 2 more sitcom episodes.
Yeah, they're episodes of the TV show episodes which star Paul Walker in character. It's like rather than do pucks, I want to turn this into Too Fast, Too Furious, where I go to Miami and I hang out with Eva Mendes and my best friend Tyrese. Remember when that film happened?
Yeah.
Much better than Hobbs.
I discovered last night, I haven't got around to watching it yet, there's a documentary called I Am Paul Walker. I spotted on, I think it was on Sky Documentaries, which I've downloaded ready to watch. We could do an episode on that.
Can we do an episode on being Paul Walker?
Probably be very depressing, but we could do an episode.
We could also do Brick Mansions, Running Scared, Hours.
We could do hours and hours of podcast on Fast and Furious stuff, I'm sure.
Sarah.
Andrew.
Thank you for your time. You are so delightful and wonderful and just the best human being I know. No offense.
That's something only the best human beings would say.
Wait a second. Now we're going to get into a spiral here, aren't we?
Chapter from the Book of Thought.
We're going to open a chapter from the Book of Thought because didn't you say that? But that's only what a best person would say. So actually, it's you.
Oh, I'm confused.
But that's the kind of observation only you would make.
Which sounds suspiciously like something you would say.
Oh no. My head hurts.
You would say that, which is classic Andrew.
Just wall to wall, Sarah, exactly as I expected.
I know, right? I love your wallpaper, by the way.
I was going to say unbelievable, but you know what? The opposite.
We believe every word you say.
Well, that's good. You should. But yeah, no, thank you so much for inviting me back on your podcast. I love it. I've been listening to all your other episodes and I recommend everyone else does too. And I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on Fast and Furious 9, indeed 10 and 11 and the spin-offs and the colouring book and all that good stuff.
And we'll invite you back for our
the concept album, the rock album, the musical that they released, the Cats integration one, the one where they go to Jurassic World, and of course the one where they finally break into the vault and join Scarface.
That's going to be good. And of course, when they do the film looking back on Luke Hobbs' life, which is a musical called Rock of Ages.
Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect.
So we're not going to take it.
I can't really fit "we built the city" into a sentence.
We drove this city because it's mortal engines. Remember Predator Cities?
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, maybe mortal engines is the next step.
Goodness gracious.
No, folks, let's write this. This is gold.
Gold?
Always believe in yourself.
Incidentally, one piece of trivia that I forgot to mention when we were talking about the film, dependent on whether you think it's 2 hours 16 or 2 hours 17, 2 hours 17 in the UK, 2 hours 16 is also the same length as A Clockwork Orange and The Matrix. 2 hours 17 is the same length as Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So think on that.
I mean, The Matrix sets up a lot of stuff, but Judgment Day does have Judgment Day.
It does.
It doesn't actually, does it? Judgment Day is reverted. Judgment Day happens in the third one. Rise of the Machines. But the machines kind of rise in Judgment Day. Wait. Oh,
I'm
no.
confused again.
Doesn't happen, does it?
This is like Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Technically, Dawn is when the Planet of the Apes rises, and rises when Planet of the Apes dawn.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Oh, no, but The Last Jedi is kind of like A New Hope, and A New Hope was actually when Rey was found, right?
I think we're just going to fade him out.
And yet The Phantom Menace is kind of when Skywalker rises, but the Rise of Skywalker is kind of technically when the Empire Strikes Back. But the Empire Strikes Back during The Last Jedi.
Oh, God.
Well, technically, but then the Jedi return, but the clones attack at the wrong time, which is when the Sith revenge.
And somehow Palpatine's back.
And
Dead
it's fun.
speak. Dead speak. This has been the greatest time to spend with your family.
Familiar.
Me, familia. This has been Fast Fridays. We've done it. We've got to the end of the road.
And
Sarah,
we've just
thank you.
watched
Just
the
like the
movies.
Just watched. The roads are a little less empty now, because now we're going to the movies. Vroom vroom. Johnny.
Beep beep. Richie.
Sarah.
toot toot.
Corona.